Good morning. Our next class is drugs for the management of gout. Gout is one of the commonest cases in general practice. It usually presents with a swollen, painful, and inflamed joint. Most of the time, the joint of the big toe, that means the first metatarsophalangeal joint, is affected. So, it's a metabolic disorder associated with elevated serum uric acid level, which results in precipitation of these crystals in the tissues, especially joints. The normal plasma uric acid level is 2 to 6 milligram per deciliter. But there is a controversy that not every cases of elevated serum uric acid level present like gout. Coming to the pathophysiology of gout, uric acid is a byproduct of purine metabolism, enhanced uric acid production, which results in deposition of the monosodium urate crystals into the joints. And the synovial sites in the joint, they phagocytoses these crystals, and they leads to the release of certain inflammatory mediators, for example prostaglandins, interleukins, lysosomal enzymes, certain glycoproteins. Because of their chemotactic property, polymorphonuclear leukocytes are attracted towards in these joints. So these leukocytes engulf these urate crystals and further inflammatory mediators are released. Thus this cycle is on taking place continuously, and there will be damage to the joint or the tissues. Then few important manifestations of this gout, depending upon the sites of deposition following hyperuricemia. The gout may manifest as arthritis, tophi, nephrolithiasis, as well as nephropathy. Most commonly present with a swollen painful joint, which maybe results from acute synovitis or arthritis, and the most commonly affected joint is first metatarsophalangeal joints. Tophi or tophus means localized deposition of monosodium urate crystals, and we can appreciate the presence of these crystals subcutaneously. One of the classic location of this tophi is in the pinna of the ear. Coming to the factors which leads to hyperuricemia, it could be results from excessive production or from the inadequate excretion. So as I already said, uric acid is a byproduct of purine metabolism. So anything which increases the purine metabolism leads to increased production of uric acid, and this uric acid is excreted normally through urine. So any inadequacy in the excretion also leads to accumulation of uric acid. Renal impairment definitely leads to hyperuricemia, and the hyperuricemia following cancer chemotherapy. Cancer chemotherapy is associated with extensive death of the cancer cells. So this lysis of the cells leads to hyperuricemia, and there are certain drugs which leads to hyperuricemia, which includes thiazides, furosemide, pyrazinamide, ethambutol, and levodopa. And the hyperuricemia associated with all these conditions known as secondary hyperuricemia. Then, depending upon the presentation, the gout can be of two types: acute or chronic type. The first condition is acute presentation. Here there will be sudden onset of severe inflammation in a small joint, the most commonly the joint of big toe. And for the management of this acute presentation, we have NSAIDs, colchicine, and corticosteroids. We use corticosteroids only in very severe cases. The most commonly used NSAIDs include indomethacin, naproxen, piroxicam, as well as diclofenac. Their anti-inflammatory action is effective in bringing down an acute attack, but sometimes the treatment may be required to continue for a long time, for example 3 to 4 weeks. This long treatment is usually used along with certain other drugs which have the ability to reduce the production of uric acid in our body, and by the time these drugs are effective, that means they reduces the uric acid production, they can initially, these NSAIDs can initially suppress the acute attack, but most of the time, because of their strong side effects, the long term therapy is not possible. The next agent we have is colchicine. It's an alkaloid obtained from Colchicum autumnale. This agent specifically suppresses the gouty inflammation, but it has no effect on blood uric acid level. And the mechanism of action of this drug is it binds to the intracellular protein tubulin and prevents its polymerization to form microtubules. Thus, it inhibits leukocyte migration into the inflamed joint and further inflammation is stopped. Uh, with this ability, that means it inhibits the polymerization of tubulin into the microtubule, it causes metaphase arrest. That means it produces arrest in mitosis of the cell. The adverse effects profile of colchicine includes nausea, diarrhea. Diarrhea is the most common side effect, and sometimes it leads to kidney damage, anemia, as well as egg granulocytosis. The most common indication for this colchicine is treatment of an acute gout, and sometimes this drug is also preferred for the prevention of acute episodes. And we have corticosteroids. Corticosteroids are useful only in refractory cases where the NSAIDs as well as colchicine is ineffective. The corticosteroids being a strong anti-inflammatory agents, they have useful in these circumstances, and we can use either a systemic preparation or a intra-articular preparation. The second condition is chronic gout. That means when pain and stiffness persist in a joint between attacks, the gout has become chronic. Usually, this chronic gout is manifested by nephrolithiasis or tophi in the subcutaneous areas. For the management of chronic gout, we have three classes of drugs. The first one is uricose-uric drugs. That means the drugs which enhances the excretion of uric acid from our body. The examples include probenecid, sulfenpyrazone. And the second group is the drugs which inhibits the uric acid synthesis in our body. We have allopurinol as well as febuxostat. And the third group is the drug which enhances the metabolism of uric acid, and the example is rasburicase. The first group is uricose-uric drugs. That means the drugs which enhances the excretion of uric acid in our body. The examples include probenecid, sulfenpyrazone, benzbromarone, etc. And how these drugs enhances the uric acid excretion. Uric acid is reabsorbed in the proximal tubules of the kidney. So by there are certain transporters in the proximal tubules which enhances the reabsorption. So if any drug which inhibits these type of transporters, for example urate1, this is a transporter in the proximal tubule. By inhibiting this transporter, we can inhibit the reabsorption of uric acid from the proximal tubules. These agents act by this mechanism. They do not have any analgesic or anti-inflammatory property. This agent just inhibiting the reabsorption of uric acid in the proximal tubules, thus they enhances the uric acid excretion. They competitively blocks the uric acid reabsorption, and it's mainly preferred in chronic gout, and we can start with a 0.5 gram twice daily dose. And it also has another property like it prolongs the action of penicillin, mainly in gonorrhea as well as subacute bacterial endocarditis. Penicillin is secreted in the proximal tubule. So by inhibiting this secretion in the proximal tubule, we can enhances or prolongs the duration of action of penicillin. Among these uricose-uric drugs, probenecid is the only preferred agent. It produces only mild side effects like dyspepsia. But other agents like sulfenpyrazone or benzbromarone is not commonly used because of their strong adverse effects. The second group of drugs includes those inhibits the synthesis of uric acid in our body. The first agent is allopurinol. Allopurinol is a competitive inhibitor of xanthine oxidase. Xanthine oxidase is an enzyme which converts xanthine as well as hypoxanthine to uric acid. So by inhibiting this xanthine oxidase enzyme, uric acid formation is inhibited by this drug. So as a result of that, xanthine as well as hypoxanthine is accumulated in the body, but these agents are more soluble, so they can simply excreted through the renal clearance. And the most important uses for this drug includes chronic gout as well as secondary hyperuricemia. In chronic gout, this drug is started with a smaller dose and gradually the dose is increased. And the major adverse effects associated with its use include hypersensitivity reactions. Sometimes Stevens-Johnson syndromes may be precipitated. An important drug interaction is it inhibits the metabolism of certain anti-cancer drugs, for example 6-mercaptopurine as well as azathioprine, because these drugs are also metabolized by the same enzyme xanthine oxidase. So by inhibiting the metabolism, this drug prolongs the duration of action of 6-mercaptopurine as well as azathioprine. Next agent is febuxostat. It also acts by the same mechanism. It inhibits the xanthine oxidase enzyme. It's a non-purine xanthine oxidase inhibitor. It's mainly used as an alternative drug to allopurinol in those patients who cannot take the allopurinol. And its use is associated with certain adverse effects like liver damage, diarrhea, nausea as well as headache. The third group is uric acid metabolism enhancers. Uric acid is an insoluble byproduct of purine metabolism. So in any way, if we can enhance the metabolism, that means we can convert this uric acid into a more soluble agent. We can simply excrete this uric acid from our body. So these drugs help in that way. First agent is rasburicase. This is a recombinant urate oxidase. That means this urate oxidase converts uric acid to more soluble allantoin. So this allantoin is excreted through urine. And the second agent is pegloticase. It's a pegylated mammalian recombinant uricase. It also acts in the same way. And these agents are mainly preferred in chronic resistant gout, secondary hyperuricemia, or hyperuricemia following anti-cancer therapy. But their uses are associated with anaphylaxis reactions. So its use should be cautious. And to summarize, gout is one of the commonest cases in general practice. It's a metabolic disorder usually associated with hyperuricemia. And the cardinal manifestations of this gout includes arthritis, formation of tophi, nephrolithiasis as well as nephropathy. The treatment of gout is depending upon the presentation. For the acute presentation, we have to manage the condition using NSAIDs, colchicine as well as corticosteroids. For the chronic presentations, we can use the drugs which enhances the excretion like uricosuric drugs, or those inhibits the synthesis of uric acid like allopurinol or febuxostat, and a third group of drugs like which enhances the metabolism of uric acid. For example, we have rasburicase as well as pegloticase. And that's all about gout. Thank you.